And a jolly good morning to you from a bright and cool old Warsaw. This is the morning after the night before. My partner in crime is sleeping off one or two extra beers from last night's gig that we went to. So I'm going out for a nice early walk before Warsaw starts to get all busy with lots of tourists, lots of locals all coming for a look around this beautiful old town part of the city. So I'm going to take a little wander around this morning, see what I see. Most of the cafes are not even open yet. It's about 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and also the various tourist shops are not open yet. I see some guys there dressed up in some slightly unusual attire, so I shall go down here and be nosy. There may well be something of interest going on today. I noticed in the old square there's a stage being set up. I don't know if that's for an event later today or at some point fairly soon, or sometime fairly soon. I'm just going to take a general mooch around so you can get a little idea of what Warsaw's like on a quiet morning. There's some guys holding a Polish flag. I absolutely love going out for early morning walks in cities, particularly cities that I've not been to before, or it's my first time, or I'm not really sure. I've been to Warsaw on a couple of occasions for a few walk-arounds. On all the other occasions, it's either been, it's been during the daytime, so fairly busy. Any time of year that you come here, there's quite a lot of tourists, but particularly in summer when the weather's nice, it does get rather chilly here in the middle of winter, and a lot of the let's say the activities laid on for tourists don't tend to happen so much in the depths of winter. Yeah, normally when I walked past here yesterday afternoon, the canopy on the stage hadn't gone up. It was just a stage and they were just beginning, so to start setting things up. Things have come along quite well. Looks like they've been at it either from very early this morning or all night long, and the sound system wasn't set up either. Try and establish what actually is going on here. It doesn't look like it's set up for it being a ticketed event, so whatever this event is, if it's on during the next couple of days while I'm still here in Warsaw, then I shall pop down and have a look. Interestingly, I can't see any signs or posters indicating what might be going on down here. There's certainly going to be something of some description going on today around this area, because I can see a lot of guys wandering around in very smart attire, suits and ties and other regalia. It'll be interesting to see if I can see what that is all about. And This always makes me smile, the almost a motorway and tram line that goes literally underneath the old square here. Best place for it really, underneath it rather than through the middle of it. I've probably said that before. And over in the distance there's the National Stadium, the Wembley Stadium of Poland. Yeah, I think that needs investigating further as to what is actually happening there in the not too distant future. The only thing I can see advertised as going on in the old town square is a jazz festival, but that doesn't start until July. That's some time off yet, so I wouldn't have thought they'll be setting stages up for anything like that so far in advance, but who knows? It is a nice morning, beautiful clear blue skies. There is a tourist office around here somewhere, but I suspect it won't be open quite yet. This place looks interesting. I walked past this yesterday. Seem to be lots of food stalls and so on open in there. That'll be open later on for sure. That was doing a good trade yesterday when I looked in there. Regionalia, so some sort of regional food. My Polish isn't the best, so I can't really tell you what that's all saying. As with many things, it's quite often better to choose what you're going to eat with your eyes. If you come to this area, this is probably one of the areas you would arrive if you come by bus. There's also a tram station just around there somewhere. I can't actually see it at the moment, but it's essentially for the trams that come from the east and west lines coming from the direction of the National Stadium. Those tram lines stop underneath the old town, and there's a way down there. There's some bus stops just up here as well where you would very possibly alight the bus if you're coming to the old square. Some interesting I love all this sort of stuff. Now, I've been to Gdynia, and it doesn't look like that anymore. There's lots of very high-end apartments, hotels, and so on. This, of course, is between the two world wars, 1921 to 1939, the Guards on the Polish coast. I can see the resemblance though, particularly on this bottom picture of what's there now, which includes a great big aquarium. Oh, these are kind of just tucked away in here. It's all to do with Gdynia, as the beginning of Gdynia as a port. For those of you that don't know, Gdynia is right up in the north on the Baltic Sea, near Gdansk. There's Gdansk. There's Gdynia. That's a very interesting place to go. The Hel Peninsula. If you're ever up in that part of Poland, it's a fantastic part of the country. Very interesting, very beautiful, and well worth a day or two of your time to go and have a look around. Gdansk is a fantastic city. As with many cities in the central part of Europe, they were of course devastated back in the 1940s, and on the whole, most of the cities, certainly in the old town areas, have been rebuilt and restored in fine fashion. Warsaw's no exception to that. You can see on the, let's say, the non-tourist areas or the areas on the outskirts, a lot of functional building taken place over the years. Some looking nicer than others, and some looking absolutely hideous, but needs must, I guess, in situations. You've got to rebuild your infrastructure as quickly and as economically as possible, but certainly in a lot of these cities, both here in Poland, in Germany and other parts of Europe that did get devastated, there's been great efforts made to make them appealing and nice places to visit. Warsaw, Gdansk, Wrocław in Poland certainly are good examples of that. And don't forget Krakow too. Although I'm told Krakow wasn't actually devastated that badly. But it's certainly a beautiful city to look around, whether it was reassembled or not. There's some more music equipment being delivered here. Interesting. See what's going on later. I'm hoping that as it's a weekend and the beginning of summer, really, or the end of spring, whichever way you want to look at it, that things are starting to kick off here. Maybe there'll be something interesting to have a look at later on. This is a new section in my videos when travelling outside of the United Kingdom or countries where English is the first language. Kwer Adama Mickiewicza. Okay, anyone that speaks Polish better than I do, which is probably just about anybody and everybody, but certainly someone that has the Polish language in their arsenal, tell me how badly I pronounce that. I'm slightly better pronouncing German words than Polish words, that's for sure. French, well, hit and miss. I know that means ice creams and waffles. A van delivering Polish cuisine, catering packs of pierogies, homemade of course. Oh, I must stop being so cynical. But it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Authenticity. You need to see your mother or your grandmother for authenticity. Everything else, probably not. This is another bus interchange just around the corner here. It's where I jumped off the bus yesterday. This is where I got off the 175, yeah, just here yesterday, which is the bus that will bring you from the airport if you take that option. If you're coming to this part of Warsaw, I would say the 175 bus would be absolutely your best option. In fact, I can see a 175 there that's ready to head back to the airport. This is your nearest stop for the old town. This is where it essentially turns around and goes back towards the airport. It's about a 30-minute ride. 4 zloty 40 for a one-way, which is under £1, or about €1 or $1, which is pretty good value. And there are other passes, day passes you can buy, 3 day, 72 hour. In fact, they advertise it, the 3-day pass on the Warsaw Transport. They advertise it as a 3-day pass, and it literally is 3 full days. So if, like me yesterday, I didn't validate the ticket, and don't forget to validate your ticket for heaven's sake, otherwise you'll be in trouble if the ticket inspector comes. On the first usage, I validated it at around about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so it'll be valid until 5 o'clock 3 days in the afternoon, 3 days later, rather than if you validate it at 5 o'clock, that's your first day gone. It doesn't work like that here, thankfully, so it's pretty good value. That costs 36 zloty, which is what's that, £7 in good old British pounds, and around about €8 or $8. So that will give you unlimited travel in Zone 1 on all the trams, all the buses, some of the trains, as long as you stay within Zone 1. And what did I miss? Trams, buses. Oh, and the metro. There is a small but growing metro system here as well, which is pretty good, pretty clean and efficient. It's not necessarily going to cover too many places. Incidentally, if this video appears first, which it probably will do, I'm going to be doing a random public transport ride on tram number 36. Now, tram number 36 they refer to as the tourist tram, colloquially, in these parts, and that's because it only really runs in summer, at the weekends, and during school holidays during the summer in the week. And it's because it's using some of the old-fashioned trams that are more or less out of service now. They don't use them anymore, but they're good old rattly old things. So if you're a tram enthusiast or like going on rattly old trams, tram route 36. Now, this time of year it should be operating on a Saturday and Sunday from noon until about 7 in the evening. So I'm going to try that tomorrow, and that'll be a separate video where I'm going to walk the full length of the tram route, which is, it's not that long. It's according to Google Maps, at least, it should take about an hour and 3/4. And then I'm going to ride the full length of it, so look out for that. That'll be 1 or 2 videos. But that's just a fun thing to do tomorrow, just have a little ride. And that's, I say they call it the tourist tram. It's not at tourist tram prices, i.e. like big red bus type arrangements. It's it's just a normal public service. It's just one that's enhanced during the or brought in during the peak tourist months, but it's included in the tickets I've just mentioned, the 440 one-way ticket or your 3-day pass, etc, etc. You can just ride on it for that. It's nothing in addition. There's a bus they refer to as the tourist bus as well. I've done a video of that already. I can't remember the number of it. Was it number 15? I can't remember now, strangely enough. Just a little mental block. But if you look on my videos, you'll find one there. and on that one I rode the full length of the bus, and I came out at a place I'd penciled in to visit, a palace at one end. The one end of the bus route was rather nondescript kind of suburb area. The other end was absolutely fantastic. So again, a random public transport ride. Have a look out for that one on the bus, and I also did one on the Warsaw Metro as well. Rode the whole of the Metro, which doesn't take all that long. It's there's only 2 lines that cross east, sort of basically a north to south route and a east to west route that intersect fairly near the centre. So it's quite easily done. And again, I just when I went above ground at various places, some were more interesting than others. Now we're coming to the bit where the tramway and the motorway emerge from underneath the old town. I've done a big circle this morning and I've ended up in this small park. See a lot of these Bolt scooters around here as well. Not a huge fan myself. Not really interested personally in riding on them, but you might be. I'd say in the old town area of Warsaw it wouldn't be a particularly comfy ride. There's a lot of cobblestones and footpaths and so on, a bit like this. I can't imagine it's a great way of getting around, but anyway, I prefer to walk it or jump on a public transport. This is a main thoroughfare right through the centre of Warsaw, which is quite incredible actually when you look at that going underneath, because there's signposts there onto the main road to Białystok, I think you pronounce that, and Gdansk. So it's not just a little local route. But fair play to them for keeping it. And, hopefully you'll be able to walk back round towards the old square, around this way somewhere. There's a rat. Rats get fat in the city. Plenty of them here, I should imagine. Nice. He's gone. There's some of those scooters just chucked into the... How many rats there are in there. Don't worry about rats in Warsaw. There's rats everywhere. And you're usually fairly unlikely to see any. Not very pleasant creatures really, but they are about. Right, so I'm not quite sure. Don't think I really want to walk through the tunnel. In fact, I absolutely don't want to walk through the tunnel. Let's go back past the rats, back up round the corner. I think this must get used as a makeshift public toilet at times. Now, why didn't I notice this before? This is quite clearly the way I should have come. Not down those steps. So I'm too busy thinking about the rats. This keeps me on the high level, the old town square level. I've never been around this bit before, where I've always wondered where the tunnel I showed you earlier on comes out at the other side of the old town. There it is. Fair play for keeping it away from here. tramp flying through. Right, I'm going to continue on a grand circle of the old town, Stare Miasto. Old town. I'm sort of circling around the edge of it really at the moment. It's a fairly small area of restored buildings really. Restored to how they were before they were all destroyed, or majority of them were destroyed. In the museum here, there are some fabulous photographs of just how badly Warsaw was levelled during the Second World War, levelled to the ground. And as I say, this central old town area has been restored really nicely. And the rest of the city is as you can imagine, a mixture of modern and not quite so modern rebuilds, some of which, of course, were built out of necessity very quickly, and many during the Soviet era. It's quite easy to see those buildings that are still around. A lot of them have gone, of course, and have been replaced by stuff that's much more modern and pleasing to the eye. But the Centrum area, up near the central station, around there, it's a buzzing area. The shopping malls, high-end shops, lots of bars and cafes and modern office buildings and so on and so forth. Completely different vibe to down here. So if you come into Warsaw, it's tend to probably want to stay in one of the two areas, either the old town square area down here or the Centrum area. It doesn't really matter which. In many respects, it depends what you'd like when you walk out of your front door of your accommodation, your apartment or hotel. Price wise, I'd say it's more expensive to stay down here. If you want to do shopping, then you're probably better off up there. But it's a nice city. I'm particularly enjoying walking around this morning in this particularly interested in having a little walk around here this morning while it's so quiet. Slightly distracted there by someone waving a cup at me and waving to me as though they've known me forever. Perhaps just a friendly local, I'm not sure really. I'm pretty sure I do not know the person. Żabka. They're everywhere, little Żabka shops, little frogs, little green frogs. Just convenience stores, but they're absolutely everywhere. So if you want a bottle of beer and some cigarettes, some bread rolls, cheese, ham, cups of coffee, hot dogs, they're a place that you could go to. They are absolutely everywhere. That's an interesting looking building ahead. I'm going to have a little look to see what that's all about and walk up as far as that before I take a kind of a right hand turn in towards back in towards the old town square. Oh yeah, I've walked along here before. Green man straight away. Right, yes. Earlier on I was talking about the tourist tram 36 that I'll be going on tomorrow, and I did start to mention a tourist bus. I couldn't remember the number, but I've just seen one, 180. It's just stopped here, and that is the one I was referring to, not 15 or whatever it was I said. But this, as you can see, is a key part of the tourist trail around Warsaw, and that bus comes. So yeah, 180, the 36 tram, which I'll be adding videos in due course, and of course they take you to all the places of interest around the city, and are included in your public transport ticket, so well worthy of considering if you like doing that sort of thing. Biblioteca National Library that will be. Once I've got under the arches here and down the way a bit, and once I've found somewhere to get a nice coffee, I'm going to continue in a clockwise direction back towards Castle Square, which is more or less where this video started earlier on today. Just starting to feel the warmth of the sun now. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. Shops and cafes are just beginning to open. The Krasinski Palace, although it does say National Library in Polish on the front of it. I'm presuming you can go for a look around it at some point. It's a bit early on a Saturday morning for doing that right now, but there are some gardens and so on right behind the back of it. I'm going to cross over actually and just have a little look, just take a little deviation away from where I am now and see if I can get around the back in any way. Right, I can see some people running in the park or the gardens, and well, the palace isn't actually open. Looks like I can probably walk around that way. Slightly lost my bearings this morning. Had to resort to the good old Google Maps just to remind me precisely where I am in relation to Castle Square. It's like a bit of renovation work maybe going on here. Palace of the Commonwealth, and all the history of it there in English as well as in Polish, which is very useful. Adam Krasinski. referred to as the Palace of the Commonwealth. Okay, see what we can see around the back. I don't think I'm trespassing going in here. I saw some people jogging around. Ah, I remember this park. In fact, I've been in here before. On my 180 tourist bus ride, the bus, yes, I remember now, I've got my bearings back. The bus that I showed you back around there comes around this corner, and I jumped off the bus just over there and came into the park. This is a very nice park, yeah. I'll do just a little loop around, but there is some footage of this park. When I came in here briefly, there was a coffee shop. I doubt it'll be open yet, but I did see a coffee shop. It's looking like the palace isn't open to the public at the moment. There does seem to be a lot of hoardings around it and signs of renovation going on. Certainly a good place to go for a jog in here. It's a nice duck pond and so on down there. Water features. Yes, it's a nice park and gardens. Okay, I'm going to continue back on today's quest and continue back round through the old town back to Castle Square and the end of this video. Right, so that little diversion into the park, and yeah, it wasn't until I got in there I suddenly realised I'd been in there before, and a nice park it is too. So I've continued in a kind of a clockwise direction, taking a right turn in the opposite direction of the Krasinski Palace, and back towards the old town area. And apparently this is a authentic Polish pierogi cafe or restaurant. Quite how authentic it all is, I would never like to. I'd never like to state, because I've got no idea whatsoever. But I'm sure if you find a Polish person, they will be able to tell you quite how authentic it is. But I do get the feeling that the best ones are the ones your mum made. Anyone like to comment on that? Unless you've got a mum that doesn't make very good pierogi, of course. We're back into the old town area now. Just going to take a little slow stroll around. See if I can see what's going on in the Castle Square in relation to the stage that's going up. There might be someone around that can tell me. You need to go to a mass, that's the times of them. I have to say, things are starting to wake up slowly here, very slowly, for a Saturday morning. And if you're still in bed now on this beautiful morning, then shame on you. Interestingly, this Barbican doesn't look like the Barbican in London. I guess the jury's out on whether we say thank goodness or not, because some think the Barbican in London's a beautiful thing. It's certainly different. Personally, I think excuse me, I think I prefer the look of this particular Barbican. I can't believe how slowly Warsaw is waking up. Maybe everyone had a heavy night last night. I know some of the folks at the same gig that I was at certainly were having a heavy night of it and thoroughly enjoyed themselves too. It's about 9:30 now, and still not many people around. You go to some busy capital cities like London or Paris, for example, and you want to get out and take some nice photos without too many people jumping in the way. You do really need to get up very, very early there. Here, not so much so. It is still quite early in the summer, however. love this little square that I've just come across. Can't see any signs really explaining what it's all about. Just seems to be a collection of homes, but we're right in the old town here. Some nice flower beds that have just been looked after here. You can just see through the brick buildings there down to the river. Varta or Vistula. Oh, nice little corner of Warsaw. I don't know what goes on here, but there's a camera watching me up there. Maybe people get up to mischief down there at night. Well, this is certainly a little corner of Warsaw that I've not stumbled across before, and very nice it is too. Things are starting to wake up a little bit here in the old town. I think everyone must have breakfast at about lunchtime here. Right, back into the castle square. I shall conclude this walk this morning. It's starting to liven up here in Warsaw now. Everyone's awake, got their coffees, wandering about, and I've seen a few tourist walking tours, I should say, going around, so it's going to start getting busy. Now, as for what's happening here, I just spoke to one of the guys that is inside the fenced off area, and he didn't actually know. strangely enough. So apparently there's some sort of parade and something at about 1 o'clock this afternoon. But can't see any posters or anything online mentioning anything going on in Castle Square today. Nothing until about in a jazz festival in about a month or so's time. So it's quite interesting. I shall come back later and add a little onto this video of whatever it is that's happening down here. One thing I did notice earlier on while I was walking around, I did notice 1 or 2 people in military uniforms and so on walking about. So I guess the parade will be something to do with that. And the event later on, I'm totally intrigued, and I shall come back this afternoon or this evening when it's underway and enjoy whatever is happening here. So for now, if I don't add to this, then nothing happens later. If I do add to this, then please enjoy in a moment or two. Bye for now. Right, as a little end to the tour of Old Warsaw. We've been out to see a couple of bands tonight play, and as I said, on the way back I'll be walking through the square to see what's going on here with the stage and so on and so forth. Well, if there was something on, it's all finished and everyone's gone home. There's a few security guards here looking after the equipment, which doesn't appear to be being taken down, so presumably it's still due to or there's more to come on there. But sorry, I can't tell you what it was all about, but I'll have another look tomorrow. You never know, there might be something interesting to see and or hear. So from Old Warsaw, it's good night from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Click all the boxes and things like that if you want to see some more. Good night.